beautiful co-creators. Lilou here. I'm in Glastonbury in England. Sunny England. Oh my.
What's the chances of sunny England? But it's gorgeous today, isn't it?
Yes, and we're here at Abbey House. We have the old abbey, the ruins of the abbey right in front of us. This is absolutely a gorgeous sight. If you come around Glastonbury, you have, of course, to stop here. Just being on these grounds is something else.
Glastonbury is an amazing place because it's got so much ancient roots. This was till it was pulled down by Henry VIII, was the largest abbey in Europe. Here, ancient pagan site. The Tor has been, well, in myth, it's the Isle of Avalon in Arthurian myth. According to legend, the bones of Arthur were found in the abbey. They weren't, of course, but that's the legend. There's Chalice Well, which claims to be the resting place of the Holy Grail. I mean, it's full of myth and story and ancient spirituality.
Yeah, and mystery. And this is why we're sitting here today next to each other. I really enjoyed our conversation, our interview over Skype, and I'm excited to do this in person now. On the Juicy Living Tour, I seek people like you, and I look forward to sharing knowledge and wisdom and experiences and philosophies also, because you're a philosopher, you're an author, you wrote over 30 books. You're a stand-up philosopher, so I want to know more about this because this is quite something. And I'm really excited to talk about your new book, The Mystery Experience, and about the awakening and all of that, and we'll see where this conversation takes us. So this is another juicy conversation. Thank you, Tim.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's what I love to do. So thank you for coming to see me.
Yes. Tell us, what is a stand-up philosopher? Not a comedian, philosopher.
Yeah, a stand-up philosopher for me was the idea, firstly, in the ancient world, when I was studying that, the philosopher was very much more dynamic than they are seen today. They would travel from place to place, filling people with new ideas and changing their reality. You see, philosophy is like magic to me. If you go and hear somebody share really transformative ideas, you come out from the experience in a different reality to the one you entered in. Mm-hmm. So that's magic. Mm-hmm. And then philosophy these days becomes so dry. So for me, I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to make it sexy. I wanted to make it entertaining. And but because I felt that was the best way to get the depth across, that if people relax and enjoy themselves, then it's possible for real transformation to happen. And it does.
So where do you want to take them to? Where do you want to take us to, even through this interview?
Well, the mystery experience, what I call the mystery experience, and which is my name for what would traditionally be called awakening, and I call it that too, but there's something about these words which carry baggage. Yeah. And why I like the mystery experience is because for me you can never name it and you can never hold it. It's always bigger than you think it is. And it's happening now. This is the mystery experience. Something is happening right now, and we don't know what it is. We are conscious. These colours and shapes, the wind on my face, the birds, the meeting of two conscious beings. It's extraordinary, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what life is. I'm a great fan of science. I'm a student of all sorts of philosophy, and yet underneath all of it, life remains forever this profound mystery which thought can never hold. So
this is the key. This is the key, being in that place. I heard that again yesterday. It seems to be something here happening in Glastonbury that really invites to the mystery too, because you're from here. So we have to... Oh, look at this little squirrel jumping. Oh my God, he's so cute. You should have seen that. I wish I had another camera filming this. Oh, this was absolutely adorable. Oh my goodness. He was so vibrant. So tell us more about that mystery. Is it what some call stepping in the unknown, constantly not knowing, and just so that we can be fully present to an experience and letting it unfold itself?
Yes, it is. Although I do want to add more to that, but maybe later. I do want to add some important things to that. But just following that thread as a place to start. Yes, or another word I love is wonder. Yeah. I mean, as a philosopher, I wonder. I've spent my whole life wondering. It astonishes me that we go through life doing anything but wondering. It's all so strange, and, it's so full of such exquisite joy and terrible suffering, and everything is happening. It's beautiful, it's cruel, it's everything. And I find myself wondering, both intellectually but also in the heart, that real sense of the wonder of just to be here now. I mean, it's easy today because it's so beautiful. The blue sky, meeting you, the squirrel, and you just sense the wonder of existence. And what in my new book, The Mystery Experience, what I'm trying to do is present a whole new approach to spirituality, which is both profoundly deep, but also profoundly simple. And the entrance, the doorway, which I open up right at the beginning, is wonder. Because everyone knows what it is to feel wonder. You know, if you say, spiritual awakening, some people know what that means. Other people, well, that's not for me, or that's only for me if I was to meditate every day for 10 years or 10 lifetimes. But to say, look, just step now into wonder. Just look at this moment now and realize you don't know what it is, and it's exquisite. To feel, and that's why I love your juicy living, you know, to feel your breath come into your body, to feel, like I said, that breeze. Isn't it beautiful, that breeze on our face now, and that kind of... And enter the wonder of the moment. Consciousness instantly transforms. And that's a doorway. And that's a doorway into the mystery experience. And then if you go deeply enough into the mystery experience... then it becomes very profound indeed. You can touch what I call the deep mystery and find the deep self, and it becomes very obvious. And then there's this deep love, and that becomes very obvious because you can feel it in every bone in your body.
Very often we get stuck in our own story. We get stuck in our own way, our way of existence and what we know. What is your recommendation about that so we can fully step in the unknown? Because I guess it's one of the challenges, isn't it?
It is. Well, there's two things I want to say. One is, the way out of the story is to focus on the mystery of the moment. You just come right into the reality of this you don't know, which is actually quite simple. And I think most people find it very easy. The difficult thing is being able to negotiate the story and the mystery. Now, in this beautiful building, and the reason I wrote The Mystery Experience is because I've been running what I call mystery experience retreats now for a few years. Mainly here, but also in America and doing one in Japan, all over the world. With all sorts of different people. What I love is the people that come are, men and women, they're young, they're old. Some people are really into spirituality. Some people are not into it at all. They've come because somebody's brought them, or they've had a feeling, or they've read a book. And what really struck me, and it astonished me, honestly, was that 99% probably, a very high percentage of people who do that, who go through this experience, this process, have a direct experience of the depths, the real depths of the mystery experience. They have a spiritual awakening over the course of a weekend. And that's not an intellectual idea, although there are ideas. That's something, you can't miss it. I mean, it's lovely when I see people go through the process because I can see them coming and thinking, well, I don't know about this. And then by the Saturday night, they're just like, wow. And it's just wow. And when you go deep in, it's juicy. I mean, it's wow. You can't miss it. If you get the chance to go deep, it is just exquisite what happens. So what I wanted to do was to try and open up a way that people could easily step into this. Okay, now, the one way, you step into the mystery, you step into the wonder, you concentrate on the moment. These are things which I say and people are quite familiar with often. But you also need a way of negotiating the fact that life has this paradoxical nature, this polarity to it. And I want to just take a few moments to say what I mean by that, because I think it's so key. So what I've done in the new book, why it's a revolutionary approach to spirituality, is it's based on a new way of thinking, which I call paralogical thinking. And paralogical thinking, which is rooted in philosophy and science, is really an acknowledgement that this experience we're having is by its very nature paradoxical. And if we can grasp that and we can think in a way which embraces that, then waking up becomes much more natural. So, here's a paradox. Science has shown us, here we are, this is nice and obvious, it's juicy, it's lovely, we're touching, and ooh, lovely, lovely. But it's not there. It's 99.99913 nines, nothing. And yet it's also there. So which is it? Is it there or it's not there? Well, it's clearly both. It's not either this or that. It's a paradox. It's there and it's not there. And if you can get that, you can negotiate it. So coming back to our discussion, you can apply this, we'll probably do it through the conversation, you can apply this to everything. But to come back to your original question, how do you, we get caught up in the story. I get in the story of Tim or Lilou. The key thing, it seems to me, is that the story's not going to go away. Because it's not the story or the mystery. It's both. And spirituality is riddled with this either-or thinking, where people are trying to just be in the moment, not think about the future. Disastrous. You can't do it. Crazy. No one, insane thing to attempt. Just live in the mystery. Well, again, insane thing to attempt. How would you live your life if you were walking around constantly not knowing anything? You couldn't do that. So this approach goes, look, no, it's not like that. It's both and, not either or. So here we're here, we have a story. You've come to visit me, we're doing it, I'm a writer, I'm talking about my new book. All of that's true. And we know a whole load of stuff on the surface. And that's amazing. And we're physical beings and we're meeting and and then underneath, I don't know anything at the same time. Underneath, there's this profound mystery happening at the same time. Now, this hasn't gone, but there's this as well. And what I open up for people in the book and in my retreats, and why so many people go so deep so quickly, is to go, look, this is all fine. Just see this as well. You don't have to change. You don't have to get rid of your story or your ego or your problems or any of that. In fact, I actually think they're rather beautiful, that we've got this tender, vulnerable humanity. What we need to do is see this other thing as well. And when you do, it's wow.
I just love it. It makes so much sense to embrace. I've always felt we talk about yin and yang, woman, female. There's always this duality, always the two. And we haven't really included in spirituality. We're still in separation then. We still have been separating ourselves as spiritual beings sometimes. And I find other non-spiritual beings are sometimes more spiritual than spiritual beings. It's like we need to embrace both words. It's now. It's really now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's both. It's, clearly it's now. It's always now. And yet, what is now? Well, now seems to be, when I look at now, right now, it seems to be something which is just flowing all the time. So it's the past becoming the future. And it's always now. It's this permanence at the same time. So it's change. This is flowing and changing, and this presence that's aware of it just is, and always is. So even time itself is both change and no change. It's both. Everything has this paradoxical nature to it. So you and I can meet here, and we can see each other, and that's beautiful. And yet, what I'm connecting with through your eyes, I can't see. I'm connecting with a conscious being. I can't see it, I can't hear it, I can't touch it. And I'm a conscious being. You can't hear it or see it. And we're connecting through hearing and seeing and touching. So which are we? Well, we're both. And what that does is it opens up this recognition of the deep self, this immense oneness, really, with everything, this love, and kind of an appreciation of that tender, vulnerable human, messed up, partial, that I've, well, for me, what it's done is it's gone, you know what, Tim isn't going to turn into some sort of spiritual uber being. He's not going to become, it's uber Tim, yes, I'm always like this, and you have met me, and you are graced, and it's like, no, none of that's happened, and none of that will. What's actually happened is that I've found this depth, which is in me, but also in you, which is beautiful and just love. Yes. And it's allowed me to go, I can let Tim be what he is, which is...
And it allows you to connect with everybody.
Yeah, really. What I love about what happens at the retreats, and it's the whole aim of the book, is to get people to the point where they can just be what they already are, which is this paradoxical combination of... well, there's a line in the book, it's a cheeky line, but I go, look, we're all great souls and we're all our souls. And that's just the way it is. We are, it's like and we're all like it. We have a fantasy there's somebody somewhere who isn't like it. Yeah. Well, I've met and hung out with a lot of people who are amazing. And, I have to say they're all like it. Everyone is like it because it's the paradox. Yeah. So once people can get to the point where they go, oh, I see. So It's okay that I've got these funny bits, and it's okay that I'm a separate self, and it's okay that I've got an ego, and that's natural. That's all right. You just don't want to be stuck in it. The problem isn't that you have one. The problem is if you're just stuck in just this. And then you're missing this. Yeah. But you don't have to get rid of that. You just have to have this bigger context which takes it all in. And then you can see, the moment as it already is more amazing than you could possibly take in.
So a person that is stuck in their own way, or keep on having the same recurring events in their life and saying, gosh, change is not possible, I still have this. What is then the next step to go from being stuck and living that story to even already knowing that there's something else is already a big step. So there must be another step in between those two. There must be. This I don't want this suffering anymore, I'm sick of this story, and it's actually making literally people sick too.
Well, I mean, the mystery experience, the book and the retreat process that I take people to is exactly to address this, is to go, look, here is a process, the book is a journey, a practical journey, philosophical and practical journey, whereby you can actually move from where you are to somewhere where you can see both. And the retreats are like the whole thing condensed and incredibly experiential. But just now, just to say something which can be helpful, it seems to me the thing is just to see, look, don't push anything away. Instead of pushing something away, see the other, what are you missing? It's like when I feel like, it's all too much, I'm a family man, and you know what life's like, it can all get a bit... It's like what's happening is that's the drama of my life. That's the adventure I'm on. Those are the challenges I face. The internal challenges, the external challenges, all the practicals of life. But I also need to stop regularly and notice that I'm alive, that this is happening. That I work with people who are dying when I was younger a lot. And what you see there is people going along in the drama, and then suddenly their life is threatened, and they suddenly wake up. Oh my God, I'm alive. How did I miss that? So it's to get that consciousness all the time. So right in the middle of all of that chaos, and that won't necessarily just magically go. Right in the middle of that, there's a poignant beauty. There's a deep and poignant beauty, and you can bring love to it. You can fall in love with life in all of its moods. That to me, it's like, when I started this when I was a kid, it was about enlightenment, because I picked up on a whole load of Eastern things. It was about getting away, being, like I said, Uber Tim, and that's gone. What's come instead is my aspiration now isn't to arrive at any permanent place. It's to be a lover of life. Yeah. And what I mean by that is like being a lover of a person. And when I love my wife, but it doesn't mean we always get on. There's challenges in any relationship, but I always love her, and I feel it's the same with life. It doesn't mean my life is somehow magically always like, yes, it's always great. It's more that deep down I always love it anyway. And sometimes, I might bitch about life behind her back and, complain about it. But underneath there's this love which comes from seeing what a miracle it is, how precious it is. So my advice is just keep returning to wonder, keep returning to mystery, and that will open the doorway to being a lover of life, to just being, just being with it.
Yeah. Slowing down, really, because we don't even take this time to be in the present moment and to allow the mystery to happen and unfold. There is this intellect that keeps on going on, this analytical mind that we need to stop, or is it a lot of people speak about the shift between to the mind to the heart? Do you have a feeling that through embracing it and seeing it this way as you're presenting it here, this is that happening too?
No, I disagree with that completely. My book's pretty bold in some places because I've dared to be critical of some ideas which are just absolutely everywhere. Look.
Thank God there's people like you.
Look, the intellect is a fabulous thing. People who go, I stop thinking. Like, oh, for God's sake, we need to think more. I'm not there with my kids going, whatever you do, look, while you're going through school, try not to think because that's bad. I'm not doing that. No. Why not? Because it's obviously crazy. we've taken, it's taken 13.5 billion years of evolution to get to the point where we can think. It is the most precious thing about us. The problem is not thinking. This has all come from thinking. This, connecting through, everything, building abbeys, has all come from thinking, imagination. The problem is, if we just get stuck in our thoughts in the story we're telling, if we do that, it's just we become narrow and confined. That's an awful place to be. And especially if the thoughts are negative thoughts or worried thoughts or habitual thoughts. That can be really painful. But the problem isn't to stop thinking. The problem is to see something else as well. So I'm not saying don't make a journey from the head to the heart. Make a journey which embraces both the head and the heart. So that you can, and what will happen then is your thoughts become clearer and more interesting. I mean, this is all thoughts. This is interesting.
Yes.
And yet underneath it, there's heart. Because
we're feeling. I think that's what people mean mainly by saying that is think less, analyze less, but feel more in your heart what it feels like, and then combining it with the thinking, it creates something absolutely magical.
Yes, mostly what I see, and I guess it's me as a philosopher, what I see is that what people often mean is not what they say. And people are deep and wise, and when people say make the journey from the head to the heart, usually they mean both. I mean, because no one can actually do without the head. Actually, you'd be lost. But what happens is that we can easily set up these ideas, which then become in the head a problem. I should only be in the now. Well, that's a very powerful thing. But if you're only in the now, well, the kids are only in the now, and you can't be a kid all your life. You have to grow up. You have to take care of time. You need to, you're traveling here. You've got to think about where you're going to be next. And all that's part of, it's both those. Don't think. Well, no, find a place where you can go beyond thought, because the mystery, the awakening is beyond thought. But leave a place for thought as well. And what I'm trying to do with philosophy is to say, look, if we can think clearly enough, all of this becomes much easier to navigate. And we end up, and often it's obvious. So I have this whole new technique. Can I share my technique with you?
Yes.
Okay, I have this technique to test out whether any spiritual teaching I come across is bullshit.
So it's the bullshit technique proof.
Yeah. It's a really powerful technique. You can try it at home. And it's this. I ask myself, would I teach it to my kids? And it's really obvious to me as soon as I do that. So I've done one already. Stop thinking. I hear it all the time. Just stop thinking. I would never teach that to my kids. That would be crazy. Just be in the moment. I'd never teach that to my kids. I'm desperate to get my kids out of the moment. I'm trying to get them into time. They need to learn about, think about tomorrow, do your homework now, then you can play later, go to bed, otherwise you'll be tired. No, I'm just in the moment having fun. I'm trying to get them to make the journey into time. So that can't be right, can it? There's something wrong there. There's something right, but there's something wrong. Traditional ones, don't be attached. I grew up with that in spirituality all the time. Have no attachments. So what do? My little girl comes up to me and goes, Daddy, I love you. And I go, okay, darling, but don't be attached. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. So what's wrong with all of those things is they're either or. Yeah. They're all either or. And once you get that, you can get it. So look, if you're stuck in time, like a lot of adults are, you need to come into the moment as well. Because if you don't, you'll miss the juiciness of life, because the juice is all in the moment. If you're just thinking, you'll miss how good it is to just feel. And just in your body as well, the physicality of life. You have that as well. If you're just attached to somebody or something, you'll become tight and clingy. But if you can see that there's a place deep in you which is completely unattached, totally free, just is, loves it just the way it is, then your human self can have all those attachments and be what it already is. And they both sit together.
So then a philosopher, for a lot of people it means a thinker, can actually accomplish things in their life.
Yeah, I mean, for the word philosophy, I love the word philosophy because, it's become associated with intellect. But actually the word, philosophia, means a lover of Sophia. Sophia is the goddess of wisdom. So I'm a professional lover of the goddess. That's what I do. I love the goddess. And the goddess in the ancient world, she symbolized life. So God, the male, would be the mystery of existence, the mystery of being, which is the thing you can't see or touch or feel. It's just what's behind everything. And then the goddess is all the colors and the shapes and the smells and the thoughts and the feelings. She's this. So a philosopher is a lover of life. And in the ancient tradition, of which I feel much more resonance than I do the modern tradition, the job of the philosopher is, as one of the famous ancient philosophers, Plotinus, put it, the job of the philosopher is to take people to the vision. So the job of the philosopher is to use words to take people beyond words. And what I do in the book and what I do with the practices that I teach and what I do in this lovely house is to take people to a place through words and through practices where they can just go, I know. I don't know what I know, but I know. And the way for me, and I think nearly everybody, that knowing is love. Just the love is so strong and so unmissable. And that love, for me, is what embraces the duality. Love is what can embrace the fact that life is so exquisite and so ugly, that we have so much joy, so much suffering, that we're both separate and not separate. Love is what holds it all together.
So what is needed to make things happen in reality? We have dreams, we have things that we want to make it happen. What is needed then?
Both and. It's like there's a place inside of us where the deep self, where there is one of us, where we are in touch with the source of the universe, with God, with whatever word you give that. Yeah. Mystery, I call it mystery. And as you become conscious of that, there's this powerhouse of creativity in you. Now, some forms of spirituality are just about getting away from this to that. Because I take this paralogical approach, to me there's the self-realization and then there's the self-expression. And here it will lead you to a deep peace. But here there's a profound passion that expresses itself in this passion for living, which is all about what can I do? How can I contribute? What can I give? So you can know yourself and show yourself, where you can actually be like, you know, because that's how I feel. I want us to really show what we are, each one of us this unique expression, to bring the love of being to the world, and to express it, and to bring beautiful things into the world, and to bring creativity into the world, to bring what we are into the world. It often does in small ways, big ways, doesn't matter, but just to be and to become.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. If there is one last message that you want to leave us with, as we're here at the Abbey House in Glastonbury, an absolutely lovely view that I'm going to film, what would you say?
Well, there's a lovely story where the Buddha, towards the end of his life, was sitting in front of all of his folks, his followers, and he didn't say anything. He just held up a flower. And then he said, if anyone could see this flower as it actually is, their life would be changed forever. And I think that's the real message for me. If we could see this moment now as it actually is, everything changes. So I hold up this moment to wonder as it is.
To wonder. Much love, my beautiful co-creators. This is Tim's latest book, The Mystery Experience. 30 of them, huh? You wrote 30 books? No, 14.
No, I've written a lot of books, but...
I'm mixing up.
But no, I have about 30 books.
Oh, yeah.
But,
okay.
But this one, Lilou, this one is the whole thing. This is the one I was born to write.
This is the gateway.
I am so proud and pleased with this book. I really want as many people as possible to read it, because I want to give something, and this is what I've come to give.
Thank you so much. What a great birth. I look forward to reading it. Thank you so much, Tim. Much love, my beautiful co-creators from Glastonbury in the UK. Bye.